I will say to the people of the Caribbean, all aboard. Because unless you get on board, we are not going to be able to avoid a 2050 that may see us, one, delivering climate refugees to the world, and two, having one of the poorest levels of economic performance of any region in the world. Not because pound for pound we are not better, because we have produced more Nobel laureates in this region, pound for pound, square mile for square mile. We have produced greater excellence in sports and cultural creativity. We've produced it even in the internet, as Cave Hill just recognized in the conferring of the honorary doctorate on Alan Emptage. We've done it. But why do we believe we must continue to do these things singularly without understanding that the power of unity is not only that of the unions to benefit from, but it is for the Caribbean people who, more than any other region, reflect people from every civilization on this earth, every race on this earth. And we have come together to fashion a civilization that is blended, but is of us and has a greater level of creativity without the bloodshed that other regions in the world have seen.
Prime Minister of Barbados issues an urgent plea for stronger regional economic integration.
CARICOM Chairman says CARICOM saddened by protracted crisis in Haiti.
And Dominicans go to the polls on the 6th of December. Welcome to the CARICOM News Time for the week ending Friday, 8th November 2019. I am Tusankin English Francis.
And I am Michelle Nurse with the details of these and other stories. Thank you for joining us.
Prime Minister Mia Mottley of Barbados and lead head in the CARICOM Quasi-Cabinet on the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, the CSME, on Monday strongly emphasized the need for the community to deliver on the benefits of regional integration. She has urged that the people of the community be central in integration efforts.
And it becomes necessary, therefore, for us to ask ourselves, in whose interests shall we act? Shall we act in the interests of that average Caribbean citizen, so brilliantly reflected in the speech of the Right Excellent Errol Barrow at Georgetown, when he spelt out the bonds that connect us that are incapable of being broken even by bureaucracy? Or shall we ignore his words and continue to believe that we can do it alone because we have something called an Independence Day?
The community, she says, should be propelled to urgent action against projection that by 2050, parts of the region could constitute one of the poorest performers in the world in GDP growth and per capita income. Prime Minister Mottley believes that the community should hold true to the principles set out in the St. Anne's Declaration, which records the commitment made by heads of government to accelerate implementation of the CSME.
How do we come to accept that we will continue to have a situation where we have surplus liquidity within this region, but those businesses within the productive sector, small, medium, large, or even nano, have difficulty in accessing funds in the region? How do we believe that our citizens will continue to believe that it can be business as usual to have to file new documents in each territory to form a company or to do business in Suriname, in Guyana, in St. Vincent, in Grenada, in St. Lucia, in Barbados, in Jamaica, in Belize? At what point do we agree that there has to be the description of claimed ground? We met in December in Port of Spain, and we settled on the St. Anne's Declaration, recognizing that unless we can have appreciable progress on a number of issues, the prospect of us not being able to sustain movement within CARICOM as reflected as a potential outcome in the Golding Report, may become one of our realities.
The protracted political crisis in Haiti can only be resolved peacefully through constructive dialogue. Chairman of CARICOM, the Honorable Alan Chasney of St. Lucia, in a statement on Tuesday, the 5th of November, reiterated that CARICOM is saddened and deeply concerned by the deepening crisis. He's concerned that ongoing demonstrations have paralyzed the normal functioning of all sectors of the country. The chairman also lamented the extreme hardships that the people of Haiti are facing. He appealed to all parties involved to commence a meaningful discourse. This, he said, should be done in good faith to restore order and normalcy in Haiti. CARICOM stands ready to offer its good offices to facilitate a political dialogue between the parties, the chairman says. Prime Minister Chasney's call for calm joins several others, including the United Nations Economic and Social Council's ad hoc advisory group in Haiti.
The CARICOM single market and economy remains the best platform for achieving sustainable economic growth for member states. The CARICOM Secretary General, Ambassador Erwin LaRocque, told key stakeholders at a recent consultation on the CSME in Barbados that the community needs to address the operations of the CSME and what needs to be done to make them more effective.
A lot of technical work is taking place. However, I'll be the first to acknowledge that when it comes to implementation, progress could be a lot better.
Even with the need for greater efficiency in the operation of the CSME, there are a number of achievements of the region's flagship program.
The 5 regimes of the single market, namely free trade in goods, free trade in services, free movement of skilled nationals, the right to establish a business in any jurisdiction, and the movement of capital are in place and operating, although, again, I will admit, imperfectly and unevenly. We are doing work on contingent rights, that is the right that accrues to any beneficiary of the CSME when they move. You move to establish a business or to apply your trade. What rights do you enjoy when you enter that jurisdiction? We have recently approved a public procurement protocol, which is opening up the market for regional integration for trade in goods and services throughout the community. Another major development is the multilateral air services agreement, which should assist in getting better air transportation moving as we move forward.
The ability of agricultural and security workers to work in the CSME is another achievement, as is the implementation of a regional credit reporting system that allows for credit checks, the raising of capital, and opening of accounts across the jurisdictions of the single market. You can visit the CARICOM Secretariat's YouTube channel to watch the entire CSME consultation, which took place in Barbados on the 4th of November.
President of the Caribbean Development Bank, Dr. Warren Smith, is urging CARICOM member states to quicken the pace of economic transformation. Speaking at the CSME Town Hall in Barbados, he said that for member states to achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals within the next decade, CARICOM must also focus on becoming an internationally competitive trading bloc.
There is an urgency, therefore, for us to accelerate the regional integration movement through the completion of the single market. That urgency is underscored by the worrisome shift towards inward-looking policies and a retreat from multilateralism and globalization in some parts of Europe and in the United States of America, which are traditional trading partners of CARICOM.
The CDB's president agreed that the CSME is the region's best bet for unlocking the economic growth potential of CARICOM member states and for enhancing the prospects for greater prosperity for our people.
Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit named the 6th of December as the date for general elections in the Commonwealth of Dominica. He told a meeting of his ruling Labour Party, DLP, on Tuesday the 5th of November that nomination day will be on the 19th of November. Prime Minister Skerrit is seeking to become the first politician in Dominica to win 4 consecutive general elections. His main challenge will be the United Workers' Party, UWP, headed by opposition leader Lennox Linton, which won 6 seats of the 21 in the last general elections.
CARICOM's advocacy for international financial institutions to consider the vulnerability of small island developing states in their criteria for concessional financing is continuing to bear fruit. CARICOM Secretary General Ambassador Erwin LaRocque recently underscored this necessity during the accreditation of the Mexican ambassador to CARICOM. A recent op-ed by Mr. Tao Zhang, Deputy Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund, outlines how the organization has been responsive to CARICOM's advocacy. Mr. Tao Zhang acknowledged that fast and affordable financing after a natural disaster such as a hurricane is crucial to addressing spending associated with the first response and the rebuilding. He said nearly all Caribbean countries are members of the IMF and can rely on financing on attractive terms. Mr. Tao Zhang pointed out that 6 countries in the region can access such financing at concessional terms, while others can access funding at relatively low rates. He noted that the IMF increased the amount it lends to countries for such emergencies. For example, Caribbean countries hit by devastating natural disasters can borrow on average up to 2.2% of gross domestic product in a single transaction.
And finally in the news this week, Port of Spain in Trinidad and Tobago has been designated a City of Music. Mayor of the Twin Island Republic's capital city announced on Tuesday last that the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, has bestowed the designation. Port of Spain joins 5 other cities in the region with this status. They are Nassau, the Bahamas, Jacmel, Haiti, Havana, Cuba, Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, and Kingston, Jamaica. And speaking about music, we leave you with the sweet sounds of soca and steel pan of Trinidad and Tobago. For these and other stories, visit the CARICOM website at caricom.org or visit the CARICOM news site at today.caricom.org.
Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next time.